Welcome to the conversation. Your teen is about to drive. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm attorney Fernando López, and today we're going to discuss a topic that almost every parent eventually faces. What happens when your teenager starts driving? For many parents, this is an exciting milestone. It represents independence, responsibility, and growth, but it can also be stressful. Suddenly, your child is operating a vehicle that weighs thousands of pounds, sharing the road with experienced drivers, commercial vehicles, motorcycles, pedestrians, and countless unexpected situations. One of the most common questions I hear is, Fernando, what should I know before I let my child drive? The answer is simple. Driving is not just a privilege, it is a responsibility. And that responsibility belongs not only to the teenager, but also to the parents who are helping guide them. Today, we're going to talk about licensing requirements, insurance, legal responsibilities, common mistakes, what happens after an accident, and how families can prepare themselves before a problem ever occurs. My goal is not to create fear. My goal is to provide knowledge, because informed families make safer decisions. Understanding Texas teen driving laws. Let's start with the basics. Texas uses what is known as a graduated driver licensing system. This means teenagers earn driving privileges in stages rather than receiving unrestricted driving privileges immediately. Marinell Maloney Law Firm, PLLC. A teen with a learner license must drive with a licensed adult who is at least 21 years old, seated in the front passenger seat. Cell phone use is prohibited. Seguridad Pública, Texas. Once a teen qualifies for a provisional license, there are still important restrictions. For example, they generally cannot drive between midnight and 5 a.m. unless specific exceptions apply. They cannot have more than one passenger under 21 who is not a family member, and they are prohibited from using wireless communication devices while driving. Seguridad Pública, Texas. As parents, it's important to understand that obtaining a license does not automatically mean a teenager is ready for every driving situation. Driving at night, driving with friends, driving in heavy traffic, driving during bad weather. These situations require maturity, judgment, and experience. That experience develops over time. The insurance questions every parent should ask. Now let's talk about insurance. This is one of the most overlooked topics for families. Many parents assume that because they have insurance, everything is automatically covered, but every policy is different. Before your teenager begins driving, you should contact your insurance company and discuss your specific situation. Texas insurance experts recommend informing your insurer when your child begins learning to drive and making sure your teen is properly accounted for under your policy. Texas Department of Insurance. You should understand who is covered, what vehicles are covered, what liability limits do you carry. Do you have uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage? Do you have enough coverage to protect your family's assets? These are extremely important conversations because if a serious accident occurs, the financial consequences can be significant. Many families never review their insurance coverage until after an accident. By then, it may be too late to make changes. Being proactive today can prevent major problems tomorrow. What happens if my teenager causes an accident? This is often the question parents are afraid to ask. What happens if my teenager causes an accident? First, remain calm. Every accident is different. But there are several important things families should understand. In some situations, parents may face legal exposure if a minor driver causes injuries or property damage, especially when questions arise regarding supervision, vehicle access, or responsibility. TexasBar.com. This becomes even more serious if the teenager was driving without the proper license. The teenager was violating restrictions. The vehicle was knowingly provided under unsafe circumstances, or serious injuries occurred. If the accident results in major injuries or fatalities, the legal and financial consequences can become very complex. This is why supervision matters. This is why training matters. And this is why communication between parents and teenagers matters. A vehicle is not a toy. It is a serious responsibility. The good news is that most accidents can be prevented through education, proper supervision, and safe driving habits. What should my child do after an accident? Let's talk about one of the most important parts of today's discussion. What should your teenager do immediately after an accident? First, stay calm. Second, check for injuries. Call 911 if anyone appears injured or if emergency assistance is needed. Third, remain at the scene. Never leave the scene of an accident. Fourth, contact a parent or guardian immediately. Fifth, exchange information with the other parties involved. And sixth, document everything: photographs, vehicle damage, road conditions, traffic signals, witness information, police information. All of it may become important later. One thing I always tell families is this: do not panic, do not argue, do not speculate, do not admit fault before all the facts are known. Simply cooperate with law enforcement, focus on safety, and gather information. Then contact qualified professionals who can help guide you through the next steps. Final message to parents. Before we finish today's episode, I want to speak directly to the parents watching. Your teenager's first years behind the wheel are some of the most important years of their driving life. The habits they develop today may stay with them for decades. Talk to them. Drive with them. Teach them patience. Teach them responsibility. Teach them that no text message, phone call, or distraction is worth risking a life. Most importantly, let them know that if something happens, their first call should always be to a trusted adult. And if your family ever finds itself dealing with a serious accident, injury, insurance dispute, or legal concern, you do not have to face it alone. At Lopez Law Group, we understand how overwhelming these situations can be for parents and teenagers alike. Our team is here to answer questions, provide guidance, and help families understand their rights and options. If you have concerns about a teen driving accident, questions about insurance coverage, or simply want information about your situation, contact our office. Your consultation is completely free. I'm attorney Fernando Lopez. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you in our next episode.